And here we're going. We're live. Hello, everybody. Let me go up to the top of the list and start saying hi to everyone.
Well, why I don't see it on hello
I think,
everybody.
all right, Mike Urban was the first one in. Maurice Kaysen, how are you doing, buddy? How's the family? We're keeping you and your wife and family in our thoughts and prayers.
Yes, we are.
Angie Griffith, hello. Lynn Leeper,
Hello.
Robert James, Catfish Hunter. How are you doing, buddy? How's the family? We keep it, which is a new channel. Great Outdoors, Sean. How are you doing?
Outdoors with Dave.
Jason Lamb, Outdoors with Dave.
Norman's in here. I don't know if you said him or not.
I haven't seen him yet. Catfish Headhunter.
Mo Creek, Stonefly, Stephen Corley, Mike
I haven't
Irvin.
reached the bottom yet. Oh, Stonefly and Mo Creek. PA Catfish Seekers.
Catfish Hunter. Hey, see you next week.
Hey, Catfish Hunters, do me a favor. Since you got a wrench, please post your link in chat.
PA Catfish Seeker. Hey, Norm. How's everybody doing tonight? Mike Irvin.
Mike Urban saying hello, Richard and Katie.
Hello.
I was just waiting to get a few more people in here.
Hi, Georgia. Hey, Finn. Thanks for coming in, guys.
I'm still trying to figure out who Stonefly is. Fin Seeker.
Art, hello.
Mr. Art.
Big
Art.
Mike.
Cool. Hello, Art.
Jason Lamb. Big Slim.
Just in case you don't know who this bald-headed guy with a white beard is, that's Richard Ward, a.k.a. MadKatters. Captain
MadKatters.
As his logo says. Which I do love that logo. That's cool.
Thank
you.
That's a real cool logo.
Thank you guys very much.
Did Catfish Hunter post his link?
Not yet, no. I don't have it, or I would post it.
There it is. There it goes. He just posted it.
MadKatters, I watched your intro video. I really liked it. One thing I wanted to talk about was, how long have you fished? Who taught you how to fish? You know.
I've been fishing since I was a child. It used to be a weekly thing with me and my dad. So I started out trout fishing in Montana and lived there till I was 18, moved to Missouri and had to learn a whole new style of fishing. And I just settled on catfishing. And so since 90, I've been pretty much a die-hard cat fisherman.
All right. And in your intro video, you talked a lot about the catfish community on YouTube. What do you think about the catfish community?
I tell you what, this live stream stuff here lately, I think has really helped out a lot. It has allowed us the opportunity to communicate with one another. Back in the earlier 2000s, I was a member of, Catfish Academy, and I went to the camps, and then started hanging out at the Catfish family gatherings in Mendota, which you've been hearing a lot about here lately. And I've been doing that for the last 8-9 years straight. So
for somebody's a newbie like me, explain what mendota is. Explain what they do there.
It's a channel cat paradise. It truly is. When we started, there wasn't a day out on the water we would catch 30 plus channel cat, average weight of 10 plus.
Wow.
My biggest
Nice.
channel cat came out of up there at 22.5 pounds.
Nice.
Keep going, Katie. You're on a roll. You're doing good.
Well, I ran out of questions. You say something because I've run out of what I wanted to ask.
All right. What you fish from the boat or the bank?
Well, I prefer bank fishing. I truly do. I have a 16-foot Big John, which started out doing in a lot of tournaments on the river and stuff with. And then 3 years ago, my oldest boy decided that we needed to invest in a Lumacraft 175. And since we've had it, the river's been kind of horrible around here. So actually, we've only had it out about 5-6 times.
Okay.
So,
when you're on the boat, do you basically drift, anchor, bottom bounce, what?
we set up and we just anchor and kick back and relax. And a lot of people give spots 15, 20 minutes. They lift anchor and move, or they drift and stuff. I just like to set up, throw out, relax, and enjoy the sport. If I catch a little one, I catch a little one. If I don't, it's just the fact of being out there relaxing with nature.
Cool. What medium, heavies? What type of rod do you prefer?
I am honestly a 7.6 medium heavy action across the board kind of guy.
And you go-to reel.
That's a tough one now. As the reel I sent you, the Shakespeare ATS,
Right.
20s. Honestly, I have 17 of them right here behind me. And I use those in tournaments and everything else. And they're like a $25 reel. So real affordable and really dependable. Here lately, the discussions of the Ming Yang has been going on, and a lot of people talk about, well, what's the CL60 like? Well, when they first came out, a lot of people said they're China junk. Well, I got the Ming Yang CL60As, the original ones.
Right.
And I still have like 6 of them out of 10 left, and 2 of them are still in the Missouri River.
I'm not going to ask you how they got there.
But
we've got Sampy. Say hello, Sampy. And we had somebody ask a question, and I've lost it. Richard Ward, ever fish in Missouri around Potosi? Angie Griffith wants to know.
I'm from St. Joseph, Missouri, so I fish the northwest corner. Missouri River, Smithville, Pony Express, been to Milford a couple times. That's some rough water. But primarily the Missouri River right here in St. Joe. And like I said, yearly we go to Mendota and stuff. So, and this year, of course, I'm going to go to Mendota, and then I'm going to go to Avid's meet and greet. So,
yeah, I'm going to Avid's meet and greet too. I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be a fun one on the Ren Lake, because that's a flathead hatchery ever. So, plus it got slab crappie.
Go ahead, Avid, and tell us about your meet and greet in case somebody in the chat wants to come to it.
The meet and greet will be the 3rd week in May, the 20th through the 24th. It's a 4-day event. We will have the 2nd annual catfish tournament, which is all the bragging rights. So yes, Jason Lamb, you're going to have to be there to honor, to defend your title. Everybody's going to be gunning for it, especially Norm. Norm's the baby killer.
Hey, Anna.
There will be a crappie tournament there.
okay.
For the biggest crappie are the slab crappies. And me and Norm will have a fish fry there.
Okay.
2 different styles of catfish cooked up. His recipe versus mine. And this is going to be a fun time for 4 days where we just hang out, chit chat, get to know each other, and just have fun.
Catfish
Excellent.
Hunter wants to know where the tournament is at. Hey, Maurice. Thank
That
you,
will
Anna. I
be
love my
at
shirt too.
Ren Lake, down by Benton, Illinois. Hi, Anna. How are you doing?
P City Smitty.
Now,
Okay, Lynn Leaper missed where it is, when, and where.
it will be at Rend Lake, Benton, Illinois, 3rd week in May, the 20th through the 24th. Hi, Anna. Welcome, Anna.
Did you say 20th through the 24th?
Right. It'd be a 4-day event.
I was trying to type it in chat at the same time.
And
1 ton. It's in Benton, Illinois. Real nice big
outside
lake.
Benton, about maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes. You can't miss it. It's a big lake. It covers almost 2.5 counties, maybe 3.
Are there blues in there? Art wants to know.
Yeah, it'd be the weekend after Mendota.
Are there blues in there?
Yes. They got blues, they got channels, and they got flatheads.
Oh, nice.
And I'm thinking about doing, I haven't made a final decision on this, but it's up in the air. But if someone catches that trifecta, there might be a trophy with it. I'm not sure yet on that one.
Anna, these are actually this one. Well, I'm backwards. This one over here is my logo for my YouTube, and then the other one is actually, yes, it's a flathead catfish that I drew and painted. So yes, it is watercolors.
You should make them both into a logo for your channel.
Well, yes, it's true. I'm just learning now. Give me time. Richard Ward, Catfish Hunter wants to know, what type of rig do you use for catfishing?
I'm pretty basic. The Carolina rig, pretty much fish off the bottom. I figure, if they're hungry, the sin will draw the fish in. I've tried demon dragons. I don't have the understanding of the float thing. I always think the bait's too heavy for it to float up and stuff. And, so I just fish off the bottom, basic Carolina rig.
Hey, Norm,
Simple.
can you put, I'm sorry about that, Richard. Norm, can you put the link up to Palmetto's Teesprings in chat? Go ahead, Richard.
So, yeah, I'm just a simple, like I said, fish off the bottom, Carolina rig.
Mono or braid?
Oh, mono all the way for me. 30 pounds.
No.
All right. Here's a question. I know you know the answer. I want the specifics of why you like this line so much. And the line I'm talking about.
The Whisker Seeker line. I like it because I think it has sensitivity to it. I know a lot of people say it has a lot lower breaking strength than what it's rated at. But I've been tied up, and I tell you what, I've had a heck of a time breaking it. But it to me, it's a lighter line, smaller diameter, and it has a lot of sensitivity in it.
All right, Anna Lakin wants to know what your arm tattoo is.
Well, it's a cover up. It's a sleeve. I got a catfish with MadKatter, and then I got a frog hanging on a branch here to tell me to never give up.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
I like that. Jason Lamb says 40-pound big game is the best line out there. And Catfish Regulators wants to know, where do you fish mostly, MadKatter?
Missouri River around St. Joseph. If you've ever heard of the Kansas River, where it flows into the Missouri and Kansas City, I like to go up in it and fish what's called the falls in the fast waters. You catch some really big and nice channel cats up there.
Catfish Hunter, message you the Norm or me, and we'll make sure we'll get you on Avid's and Meet and Greet page and the Bank Fishermen of America's page as well.
Yeah, anybody that wants to come to the meet and greet, if you'll just message Norm or Avid or even me, we'll get you hooked up with the information.
Yeah.
And he has a Facebook page specifically for people that's coming.
You're
So.
already on that one, aren't you? Right, Richard?
Yes.
Oh, an update on that reel.
Yes.
I've loosened up a little bit, and I've casted it on my last live stream. And Katie told me if I tangled it, it went to her. Guess what? 18 casts, not one tangle, and my thumb never hit the spool.
Aw. Well, I tell you what,
he was-
Katie, I'll bring you a reel at the meet and greet. How's that?
Sounds awesome.
Hey, plus you want a chunky right on top of it. I'm like, no, not going to happen.
I tried,
Well,
man. I
I
tried.
could bring her a BJ rod that's just like yours, but it won't have the bling to it, the neon tape. Yeah.
Hey, I'll take
Hey,
anything I can
she
get.
would love one of those rods.
Norm, will you post my channel, please, for Catfish Hunter?
It's a perfect heavy action rod. It's not real tall. It's what, 5 foot, 6 foot?
The BJ rod is a 7 foot medium heavy 2-piece rod.
It feels like it's a heavy action.
It's a little on the stiff side for a medium
Right.
heavy.
I mean, it has a backbone because it throws an 8-ounce weight like nothing.
Right.
I mean, the last 10 or 12 casts I did on the live feed it had an 8-ounce weight
Yeah.
on that 30 pound whisker seeker line, and it's throwing it 70, 80 yards out in the lake.
Nice. Yeah. Well, and
Norm just posted the meet and greet. Norm just posted the meet and greet information.
Thank you, Norman.
And Anna wants to know your personal best, Richard.
my personal bests, I have a 22 and a half pound channel cat out of Lake Mendota.
Wow.
I have a 43-pound channel cat, or flathead, I'm sorry, 43-pound flathead. And my blue, believe it or not, is only about 15 to 17 pounds.
Richard, you're going to have to come down here more often. I'm going to put you on the Kaskaskia in a few places. We're going to break you blue.
I want one big. Yeah, 30 pounds is my goal for a blue cat.
Our first meet and greet, our first catfish tournament. Jason Lamb in 1 hour had 4 cats, total weight 110 pounds.
Wow.
In
Nice.
1 hour.
Nice.
I mean, that boy was so stoked. He made a kid in a candy store look weak.
Now that's all from the bank, right?
Right. It was all from the bank.
Okay, good. Two old vets made it.
Yeah,
Hey,
Richard, Anna wants to know what the story is behind the stuffed critter behind you.
Oh, my hedgehog.
What you-
I believe it or not, I used to be into exotic animals, and between the house and garage, we had over 250. And inside, I raised hedgehogs and sugar gliders. So, yeah, my wife gave me that.
Awesome.
Oh, we got Rena.
We got chunky cats in the house.
Chunky cats, buddy. Welcome. Tim Molina.
Eric Burnside.
Catfish regulators. Now,
Anna loves the hedgehog.
Chunky, here's a face to the name that you've seen in your chat so many times. Richard Ward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sharina, hi.
Hello, Serena. That was an awesome live you did today from the bank.
I watched part of it before Palmettos. It was great.
Yes.
I was watching.
Excellent job.
I was at work watching it while I was doing paperwork.
We got Mark Clark in the house.
No.
Parker Pursuits.
All right. When you go bank fishing,
Yeah.
and you don't have any electronics from the bank, which we all know,
Right.
what do you look for from the bank for a good fishing spot?
I like to look at where, like ridges run into water where there'll be a washout. So, you have a drop, and then it'll come out into the main part of the river. And I like to fish where it comes up out of the hole. Or if we have a levee, I like to fish in the fast water off the tip of it where it rounds it.
Okay. What's your opinions on where the seams of the river meet the calm water?
Yeah.
The river seams?
I would fish the faster part of the seam. I always like fast water for some reason. Maybe that's because the Missouri has a pretty fast current most of the time.
Right. On the Kaskaskia versus the Mississippi, they have they have the seams, but one is faster than the other. So what I do with two rods on the Kaskaskia, I put one on the fast side, and I'll drop one right in the seam.
Yeah.
That way, because I know the seam carries the bait fish. And where the bait fish are, the predator fish are going to follow.
Okay.
But the Mississippi, I'll put one way out there as far as I can get it in the Mississippi. Then I'll put one maybe 2 feet on the inside of the fast current because it's going to push it right back into the seam.
Oh, yeah. Bring it around, trail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what's your opinion on rattle traps and peg floats or demon dragons?
I know a lot of people that use them and are very happy with them. Like I said, I have no experience really with them. I do buy certain ones like the Muddy River one, backwoods, catfishing, stuff like that, just because they're pretty and I want them on my wall. But as far as using them, to me, it would seem like it'd be more of a drifting rig if you did that to keep the bait up moving as you're going. And, since I'm a bank fisherman or when I fish, I anchor up. So to me, I don't really see the importance to it,
All
when they
right,
say.
Hold on, I'll show you what. We'll get one out here in a minute. I use these from the bank. And these are basically like you rig it up just like you do a Carolina rig with your sinker to the swivel with a bead in between. And you tie the swivel to the height you want it to come up off the bottom. And in the current, these rattle.
Right. I understand the rattle part. But in my perception, I just don't see that little float holding, a shad the size of my hand up off the bottom anyhow.
Well, what I do with that, when I get them that big, I'll put 2 floats on it.
Okay.
But with this one, it does a medium-sized bait. But if I'm using the bigger chunk of bait, I'll put another float here in front of it with another bead in front with a bobber stop, like you see right there, the little tiny thing.
Okay.
What it does, however long you have it, is going to be that much farther out, but it's going to be up off the bottom in the strike zone. It's just like dragging or drifting in a boat, but you're doing it from a bank.
Okay, so you have to have current then to use them.
You can use it with current, but in the lake, I don't use it with a current. I just put a live bait on there, hook it through the upper lip or through the back of the tail, and him swimming around is going to get that just rattling anyway, attracting attention.
Okay.
So even if you do a live bait in a current, it's going to make that much more noise with a live bait.
Okay.
Or a piece of cut bait in the current, it's still going to be making that much noise. So like in Rend Lake, I'll put a whole bluegill on here alive and just cut off the tail.
Right.
Maybe
The
that
bleed.
puts off the meat to where it has that slow trickle of blood, and just hook this right up through the sinus cavity and cast it out. And it works.
Right. Like I said, I'm simple. I do the Carolina rig, fish off the bottom. And you know what? I give kudos to those guys that invented that stuff and use it and know how to. And I've seen great fish come up off of them. But you know, like sometimes, you know, my wife always says I resist change. You know, so you know, I guess I'm too old school.
Well,
Jason,
you know,
I do
my
agree with
dad
that.
always said if what you use works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Jason,
So
in
I've
the
used the same
wintertime-
thing as you. So
Jason Ward, I do agree with that. In the wintertime, you want your baits on the bottom because the cats are in the mud.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
in the mud, and you want that bait to drop right in front of their face.
well, I'll tell the people who go to Mendota, and you know, you always hear Lyle mention Cherokee. That's where a lot of them like to fish out of it. And Cherokee might be at the most 4 foot deep. And when you throw out, you're in probably 4 foot more of just mud. You know, so even with a weight in those floats, your bait's going to be just sunk down on top of the mud. You know what I mean? So
My rods, I don't know how wide Cherokee is, the cove or whatever you call it. I don't know how wide that is.
yeah.
But my rods, my big rods, with the weights I throw on them, and as thin as the line is, they go a long distance.
Right.
These,
It's pretty much solid mud bottom out through Cherokee. It truly is. And a lot of times you're throwing up into the wreaths up against the bank line, you know. They're coming out of 1.5 feet, 2 foot of water a lot of times.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That
Richard,
is
do you
really
fish
awesome.
by yourself, or do you have a buddy you fish with, or what?
Up there, I usually take my oldest boy. We've been going up there, like I said, for about the last 8 years. I go up there to visit mostly. You know, there's Jerry up there. He's the main guy who got me. I tried to pronounce his name, but I'd butcher it. And he's a great guy. And then you guys all know and have heard of Troy Hansen, Ken Miller, you know, Orange Crush out of Iowa. Good friends. They're always up there and stuff. So it's
When
a
you're
good
at home,
time.
do you fish by yourself? At home, do you fish by yourself, or
Oh yeah,
does
yeah.
your boy fish with
I
you?
love to get away and go fish on the bank, you know.
That's
Yeah.
me too.
It's a good release for me because right now, you know, with this COVID, we've been doing 12-hour shifts, single staffed, and I support individuals that are mentally and physically disabled. And then, like, you know, sometimes night staff will call in, then you're stuck and you're working 24 hours straight. So
Right.
sometimes you just need to get away. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I understand that. We've got
Yeah.
a lot of awesome people in here. We've got Roger in here with Muskrat Adventures. I don't know if we said, but Chunky's in here. Chesapeake Bay is in here. Parker Pursuits is in here. Lots of awesome people. Thank you guys for all coming in, checking
Thank
it
you.
out.
We have a total of 44 people watching us right now. And Norman, would you please post MadKatters channel?
Norm's been
And
pretty good. He's been
Catfish
posting
Headhunter,
links all along.
Catfish Hunter. Richard Ward is MadKatter. He has a new channel. It is MadKatter on YouTube. And Norm or one of my mods will be posting that channel link up for you.
And you can blame Avid for it because he kind of encouraged me to start the channel. And, you know, got to give Avid kudos because, you know,
I
he
like to
really,
encourage people.
You do. You really push for other people's channels to grow, and you're encouraging and stuff. And honestly, that's why I decided to give it a try.
Same here. Same here.
And that's why I picked a young female cat fisherman to be a co-host.
Nice. Yep.
To help
Diversity.
her get used to being on screen, talking to herself and to other people, to where when she does do lives or her fishing videos, she'll be comfortable with doing it. And she'll get more comfortable with it and more of what it feels like to be doing it. And that's what I want to do. I want to help.
Yeah.
Because Maurice Kaysen was my first subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
And he helped me get this far. Then was
Nice.
Norman right behind him that helped. Maria, how are you doing? Katie, Maria says hi to Avid, Katie, and Richard.
Hey. We got Outdoors Addiction in here.
That's
LG
Jesse.
Bass is in here. Lee Reed.
Katie,
Yes.
here's one woman that we can get on here. Not this coming week, but the week after.
Who's that?
Serena.
Oh, yeah. Sharina, hit one of us up.
Have her hit you up because I want you to talk to her about it. Then send me the link and everything.
Sharina, you can find me on Facebook. It's Katie Collins. Send me a message. We'll see if you'd like to come on the show. We'd love for you to.
We'd love to have you on the show, Sharina. But Richard, what if you had a choice, a chance? What epic YouTubers, catfish YouTubers, would you like to fish with?
Now, see, once again, I'm old school. Back when, Steve Douglas was out there showing us all how it was done and stuff, and Lyle, but I'd hate to say it, Doc Lang would be my number one choice, and then
Amen. I agree with you on that one.
Then I'd have to pick John Jameson of Kansas over here. He's a big tournament fisher and stuff.
I don't know who he is, but
I classify John Jameson actually about the number 3rd catfisherman of tournaments. Just a personal thing.
All right, 3 more.
He put you on the spot.
Bill Dance, of course, would be anyone's choice,
Yeah.
Bass fishing, not really.
He's still pretty awesome.
Well, just for the bloopers, who knows what would
That's
happen.
right.
The Massengills.
Jason Lang, I would like to fish with. Doug Stangy. Doug Stangy.
Yeah, Toad would have been a great one. Toad Smith.
Yeah. Now, I will have to put it this way. Doc Lang, Muddy River Catfishing.
Yeah, Chris.
Luke from Catfishing Carps is the top 4.
Yeah.
The 5th one,
Katie?
the 5th one is still up in the air. I'm not sure on that one.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Anybody that would like to fish with me, I'd love to fish with.
Well, Katie, you have a lot of people that would like to fish with you.
I've noticed that pretty lately. I feel pretty honored with all the people who have told me I could fish with them. It just warms my heart. It really does.
No.
And all these people in this page, man, I am completely honored. You've got Chad in here. You've got Roger in here. You've got Outdoors Addiction Jesse. You've got so many of the big names that I watch every week. Mm-hmm. I am honored that you guys are in here watching a little show that I'm on. I feel special.
Now, Richard, here's another tough question. Your baits of choice and why?
Okay, now For me, I really like creek chubs if you can keep them alive. Creek chubs, I love. My second one, believe it or not, would have to be goldfish. A good 4-inch goldfish to me makes an excellent bait. And then, of course, shad and then Asian carp.
All right. What do you think about skipjack?
You see great fish being caught with it, but it's not native to the water up here.
Right.
A lot of people do buy it and use it, and it does produce. But to me, up here, I honestly think I do just as good of using goldfish as I do on skipjack around here.
And red horse suckers?
That's more of a southern. It starts getting a little south for us. Suckers
Okay.
really not prominent up here.
I didn't know if we had suckers up there or not, so I figured I'd ask.
Yeah.
Because we get suckers down here. We get the Asian carp. We get the big head carp. We get the shad, the skipjack, the buffalo.
Yeah.
And all the carp. I use them all those for bait.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the bloodier, I found out with a red horse sucker versus a skipjack blood-wise, that red horse sucker comes in a close second.
Yeah.
Because it's bloody.
Well, I think it's more the oil with the skipjack rather than the blood.
Right. The skipjack has a lot of blood in it, but it has a lot of oil too. But the red horse sucker, I mean, that blood just clings to that meat. Because what I do is I just cut up this red horse sucker, drop it in a baggie, and let the blood soak into the meat like I do the skipjack. Then they take it out, put it on the circle hook.
Where's Tim from? Because Tim just posted that goldfish are highly illegal where he's from.
He's in New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
He's in around Albuquerque, New Mexico area.
Okay.
Out there, you cannot use goldfish.
Can you repeat, Richard, how big your personal best blue was? Catfish Hunters wants to know.
My blue was only like 15, 17 pounds. Not very big at all.
Well, we can change that, so that ain't a problem.
Excellent.
Illinois is known for some big cats.
Good, good.
Thank you for coming, Anna.
She said we're on the big TV.
Huh?
She says we're on the big TV. She's watching on the big TV. Makes you feel pretty popular, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Can Avid tell us your favorite bait? Art wants to know from 1 ton.
My favorite bait?
Mm-hmm.
Red horse sucker, skipjack, shad, Asian carp, and big head carp. Those are my favorite baits.
Sharina wants to know where you're at in Illinois, Avid.
Belleville, Illinois. I'm about an hour from Wren Lake. I'm 30 minutes from the Mississippi, 20 minutes from the Kaskaskia, and 45 miles from about 45 minutes from Carlisle Lake. And they all have big cats. The biggest flathead out of Carlisle Lake is 76 pounds.
Nice.
And they got a mount of it up in the visitor center.
Okay.
That thing's about 5 foot long, maybe 6.
Richard, have you all ever tried? Oh goodness! Have you ever tried strawberry jello chicken for catfish bait? Catfish Shiners wants to know.
I have never tried chicken. Now we've tried the Jello hot dogs. And other than that, mixing Jello, maybe carp bait. Yeah.
No, Willie, that would be you. You're the big head carp of the clan. I can't take that title away from you.
I wondered if you saw that. Hey, JP.
That I do not know how big the Mekong catfish or the red-tail cat.
Norm, can you post if Doc Lange has a channel, which I believe he does? Can you post it, please?
Doc Lang.
Yeah,
I
and
believe he
Georgia
does.
wants it.
Yeah, that,
Avid, Uncle Josh wants to know how big the Mekong catfish get.
I'd say 174 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a big old fish.
Last time I was talking to someone online on YouTube about it, I think that someone that's over in overseas said it was 174.
Two stanzas in the house. I missed him earlier, but I just saw him say something. Tom's Little's page says they get up to 1,000 pounds.
I
The
wouldn't doubt
record
it.
one, Catfish and Dream says the record one was 900 pounds. Good grief, that's a huge fish. I agree with Sharina. Wowza, that's a huge fish.
Now, MadKatters, Richard,
Yes.
would you rather eat chicken or turn around and throw it in Jello and use it for bait?
I'd have to pick eat it over fish it. Yep.
I had to throw that one in because everybody kept asking you about that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, me.
I tried it and I never had any luck. I
That's why I
tried.
sent that picture of the grill with the chicken on it cooking. Because everybody's just chicken for bait. I'm like, no, this is a proper place for chicken.
Right. Yeah.
So, hooks. What brand and why? So, circle hooks versus J hooks.
Well, now I'm a circle hook guy because I'm kind of lazy now setting the hook. Believe it or not, Cat Max.
I've heard a lot about Cat Max. I just never tried them.
Yeah. Cat Max or the
I've been
Rip and
using-
Lip red
Rip and
ones that are good.
I've been using Team Catfish. Team Catfish hooks.
Yeah.
The,
They're a good, heavy, thick hook.
That's what I've been using.
they got
Team
some
Catfish.
thick ones. They got some thin ones, but I like the thicker ones because they have a lot of backbone for the bigger fish.
Right.
Because this bigger fish will twist the hell out of a small, thin shank.
Wow,
Yeah.
Catfish Weekly. Hey,
Hey, Lyle, welcome.
thanks for coming in.
Mr. Lyle.
That's pretty
This
awesome.
is, Richard Ward, a.k.a. MadKatters. I've tried the triple threat offset hooks.
Yeah. Triple threat.
Yeah, but they weren't. They're not. The shanks were a little too thin, and they bend too easy.
Well, and I know there a while back, I can't remember, maybe a year and a half, they had a production problem with the eye where it had like a bray on it or something.
Yeah,
But,
a big cat will hit that brain and just snap that line.
right. But believe it or not, they made it right. You know, even I had a bad batch and got hold of them, and they made it right. You know, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a question for you that's probably going to make you think. Your beginning bank fisherman or cat fisherman in general, what 4 tips would you give them?
First of all, would have to be cost wise. You don't have to go out there and spend a lot of money to get started. You know, you can get the big game for what, like $19. You could get even the Tiger setups once in a while for around $29, and start small and cheap to know if that's something you're going to want to be, you know, wanting to do and invest money into. My second thing is like use Google Earth Maps, locate you a safe, flat, easy accessible spot. If you're like me, If you fall, you're done for. And most importantly for me is always let somebody know where you're going to be and at what times, most important thing, and snacks, always have your Mountain Dew with you, and then just sit back, relax, and enjoy it. I mean, that's the thing, is the enjoyment you get from it. Yeah, a lot of people are out there on the hunt for that big one. You catch a little one, you might get frustrated, but no, it's about the relaxation and the fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like Serena says, you got to have snacks. Okay, we're going to step back a little bit. I want you to reiterate on the rod and reel choice for beginner catfishing.
Well, like that rod that you won, the BJ rods produced out of St. Joe right here. I mean, that's a $22 rod. I mean, and like you said, plenty of backbone. It's a little heavy for a medium heavy. But, for the quality of rod, for a $20 rod, it's good money. The Shakespeare ATS 20s, like you have, 25 to 30 bucks off of Amazon. And in my opinion, I mean, the BJ rod and that ATS, that's a good setup, and big or small, it's going to bring them in. Right.
Now, for me being a spin casting reel man, that Shakespeare ATS low profile bait caster, I've casted a total of 35 times with the way I have it set now, without a backlashing when it hits water. I like it. I'm shocked that it hasn't backlashed like everybody says it will. But I know
it will.
But
it will.
If I loosen that drag up anymore on that spool, I know it will.
Yeah.
But where I got it set now, as soon as it hits that water, it almost like stops.
Yeah.
It's like it's hitting concrete when it hits that water. And like stops, and it just slowly unreels as it goes down.
Yeah. And for the money, honestly, you cannot beat it. I mean, you truly can't. And I started out with the Zebcos. My old man was a Zebco 600 or a 606 guy, and so that's what we used. He didn't believe in the 202s or the 404s because, hey, we don't use plastic housing. So I guess I was kind of spoiled that way, so.
Catfish hunters, I know people that use pin squall reels. I don't have one, but any pin reel is a good reel because I have a drag system that's far beyond any other freshwater reel that you can get. And that's my opinion. Their drag system is way better.
I started with the little old Snoopy pole that was given to me, and then I went to a Zebco 202. Then I went to 808s, and then I was given a Abu 5500, and then I was hooked into Abus. I've used them ever since.
Yeah. What would be your opinion on the pin squall bait caster reels?
I've heard real good things about them. I myself, the only pin I ever owned was like a 310 when it was still USA made. So it was an older one. But like you said, they're just a winch. I mean,
they're a beast.
Yeah. They're so I couldn't honestly give you an opinion on one because I haven't handled one, used one, whatnot.
I'm using two pins right now, the Pin Pierce 8000 and the Pin Pierce 6000. That's both freshwater and saltwater reels.
Yeah.
And those boys, they've caught some big cats. The Pin Pierce 8000 was on a 13-foot rod, and it landed my 83-pound blue.
Nice.
In heavy current. And I tell you what, that as tight as I had that drag, he pulled the drag out. But I was able, with a heavy backbone of that rod, to keep him turned when I wanted him to and pull him out of the current. But he still fought and pulled drag. But that pin, I mean, it made him work for that drag.
Yeah.
That's why I like the pins. I haven't had much luck in breaking in that Cast King 5000 reel yet.
Yeah.
I've been using it. It just nothing's broken in that reel, but the rod's been had catfish on it before. Just that reel, just oh, nothing like that Cast King reel.
Well, another thing to point out to you, Avid, just while I was thinking about it, I saw this comment. You know, a lot of people talk about the foots on the reels. You know how they complain about only having the 2 pins,
Right.
but like on the ATSs, it's got the 4. You know, so that's also another plus for these reels.
Yeah, it beefs up the seat. So if one pin breaks, you still got 3 more pins holding it.
Yeah. You know, so another, in my opinion, push point for them. You know.
Catfish Hunter wants to know, Richard, what kind of video camera do you use?
Well, actually, for the introduction I have on my Facebook page, I used my old HP Stream Book. And right now I'm just on my Android phone. But we did invest in a new computer that's going to be specifically just for my YouTube channel.
Now, as far as videos go, that's all I use is my Android S10.
Okay.
All my videos and most of my live streams from the bank are off this.
Okay.
And you see all crystal clear, and the clarity is on that. And I love it. I have not.
Well, this is the.
Huh?
This is just the old Samsung S8, right. So it's fairly old.
And my last 2 live streams I did off this tablet.
Okay.
And it's the new tablet, Tab A, and it's also Android, which I love them both.
Yeah.
They give real good clarity, so. And I can do live streams off them both.
Good. Yeah.
I had the S8. I think it's really good. And I have, right now, I have the S10, the Note 10. And to be honest, it's a little bit sharper camera, but I like the S8 too. I didn't have any, any arguments about the S8. I feel like they're very close to each other, just a little bit finer picture. So
Catfish Hunter, I'm sorry, but Catfish Hunter, about the GoPros, you'd have to ask either Catfish and Dreams, Norm, Palmetto Cats, or someone like that uses them. I don't use them. As far as I know, Richard, Ward, and Katie don't use a GoPro.
No.
Do you? I have no opinion on a GoPro, so I wouldn't know.
And you'd have to check with someone like Palmetto or one of them.
Roger.
Yeah.
All right, Roger, you have a good night.
Yep. Good night, Roger. Thanks for stopping in.
We have 50 people in here tonight.
It's awesome. If you don't care, push the thumbs up for us, please.
Wow.
Yes, Thomas, we're all using our phones, and it looks like all of us have Samsung phones.
We all have Androids.
Yep.
Which is good, because that way with iPhones like Norman said, they overheat too quickly, with the Androids don't. But I always carry an umbrella to where I can strap it to the tripod and cover my phone in the heat to help keep it protected. Exactly, Serena. Android is better than iPhone.
I agree.
Oh, I bet he's chiming in on Androids. Oh, there's 4 Android users right there besides us. That's 6. Rivers, lakes, or creeks for catching bait.
Oh, bait, creeks. Yeah. We got what's called the Black Snake Creek around here, and it's got the sun perch, it's got the creek chubs. So as far as live bait like that, that's where you go, what you get.
See, Lyle even likes Android.
Now, see,
All
you're over
right.
in Lyle's neck of the woods.
Yeah, he's southeast of me a fair bit.
Yeah, but you guys are pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah,
You
I'd
know.
say probably 300 miles, maybe less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Sean, Great Outdoors, before he moved, he was in Kansas City.
Yeah. So he would know of the Kaw River. Yeah.
No, do you believe
Serena,
that?
me too.
Do you believe
I
that?
think several of us are just now figuring it out.
Do you believe that moon phases and barometric pressures will affect catfishing?
Check the lunar table. Honestly, you know, you hear a lot about the barometric pressure affecting it. I tell you what, my best catching of catfish has been in terrible downpours, you know, from the bank.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard they fish better, that they bite better in the rain.
They do.
So
I've proved that time and time again.
the science perspective of it, you know, I'm no ichthyopaleist or whatever they call the fish scientists, so I wouldn't have an opinion on how that affects them or not. You know, they say, oh, after a good rainstorm, they're not hungry. Well, yeah, you think, well, all the worms and everything are washed in. So, you know, that to me is logical.
Let's
But
see. My theory is when it floods and the water's rising, you use worms. Because that's what the catfish are coming up and eating out of the dirt and the grass is the night crawlers coming out into the water.
yeah,
But as the water recedes, you revert back to cut baits and stuff like that.
yeah,
Because that's what they're going back after is all the predator preys that they go after.
yeah. Well, I've always heard the
Okay.
catfish bite is better when the river's on the rise.
Right. They bite
think
better
so
on the
too.
rise, which whether it be night crawlers, cut baits, or whatever. But I found a few times that when water's rising, using a big glob of night crawlers on a circle hook catches you a big cat.
Yeah.
And do you do you use live bait very much?
Me,
Yes.
I usually like cut bait. I like to cut mine up, even if I catch like a creek chub or whatnot. Honestly, what I do is I'll hook them sideways through the eye and I'll fillet up from the tail, and then I'll hook that fillet back over. Dieter Melhorn had a fancy name for that at one time, but
Right.
I've
It's a flapper
always
rig.
done that.
It's what they call
Yeah, I
a
think you call it flapper. Yeah.
Oh,
we
okay.
cut up and cut out the spine and leave the two sides out there and just let it swim, float like that.
Oh, well, I always take one side and flip up and hook on
Right.
the hook. Yeah.
That's what they call a flapper rig.
Okay.
Okay, I haven't heard any of you say anything about bluegill. Do you use them as bait very often?
Oh yeah, that's why I got
Yeah.
live well in my bedroom full of bluegills. I
And
throw them out there live for flatheads.
right. And I will give a hint for those of individuals interested and going to Mendota.
Mm-hmm.
Bluegill in about inch squares is the ticket on about
Really?
a size 5/0 circle hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I do watch Catfish Day, but I don't know if Katie does.
Yes, I do. I like Catfish
That
Days
guy's a
videos.
little. I don't know how he picks up that rod and runs 100 yards backwards to set the hook.
I don't either, but it's pretty awesome to watch.
That blows my mind.
It does
Yeah.
me
That
too.
rod, a 13-foot rod, and zips running backwards up the hill. That just,
It is pretty fun to watch, though.
yeah, it's pretty fun to watch, but it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Dobson wants to know why you have bluegill in your bedroom.
That's my live well tank. And it keeps them warm year-round so they don't freeze outside.
Yeah.
Richard, do you fish much backwater?
Only if I'm after like moon eye or something, trying to catch some for bait, throw out a bobber and float it in the backwaters of the river, trying to catch moon eye. Because up here, moon eye makes a pretty decent bait.
Really?
Ace is asking you, Richard.
So you don't fish for catfish?
Nah, see, I'm more, like I said earlier, I'm more of a current fishing the
All right,
currents.
Tim, you take it
Okay.
easy. Ace wants to know if you gave his Sprite away.
Give us what?
Sprite, Scrit.
Secret, I think.
Secret.
I think it was supposed to be secret.
Oh, I gave his secret away about the moon eye?
I don't know. He asked if you gave his secret away.
Oh, I didn't catch it. Yeah. Oh, why did you give my secret away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was your secret. I thought it was common knowledge.
Right.
Oh, his secret about Mendota, I guess.
Oh, Mendota. Well, the thing is, honestly, when you're up there visiting with the guys and stuff, I'll blame Troy Hansen on this one. He's always concerned that if you guys don't have enough bluegill. So, yeah, to me, it's no secret. I mean,
No.
I've been going up there 8 years, and like I said, it's been great. However, the fishery has kind of slowed and stuff because I think the more it's used and the big fish being caught out of there, it's more popular of a spot now. But you're going to catch a big fish if you go up there, guaranteed. The biggest channel cat, probably your PB. So it's well worth the trip.
Hey, Geo Bushcraft and Outdoors, welcome. If you like the channel and live chat, please hit the subscribe, the bell icon, and the thumbs up.
Yes, please. Anybody
Sorry,
been
Amy.
out ice fishing? No, sorry, GL Bushcraft. I live
You'd
in
have to talk
Kentucky.
catfish and crappie on that one. Bush.
Yeah, it don't get cold enough here for that, thank goodness.
So, do you use sinker slides on your Carolina rig, or do you just put a regular sinker on there?
I have been using the easy sinker slide by Rig Wrap, so I am starting to use it more. I usually just do a little drop with a real light test line, so if the weight gets caught up, it'll break free and I'll keep my hook and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, more and more I'm using the sinker slides.
That's cool. You're using a heavy gauge swivel, right?
Honestly, I use about a 1 to 1/0, about 100 to 130 pound max is what I use.
Right.
I don't see any point in that. Yeah, like the 4/0 swivel. I mean,
right.
I just don't see the point in
I
that.
can't wait to get to Mendota in Cherokee.
Yeah. Catfish Hunter wants to know what's our take on tangling with catfish rods. Personally, I've never used one. What do you think about the monster rod? I've not used either one. Have you all?
I've heard a lot of good thing about the monster rods, tangling catfish rods. I haven't heard much about them.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Palmetto.
I've heard
Hey,
good
Kevin.
about them. You know, they are a good rod. There's a Matt Merton up here who was actually sponsored by them when they first started production and stuff. And I mean, they're a good rod.
Yeah.
See, for me, I hate to say it, a lot of these new rods and stuff I like, but I won't get because of the aluminum reel seat unless it's the aluminum reel seat with the trigger. I'm sorry, I'm old school. I gotta have my trigger on the handle when I cast.
I like the trigger too.
That's the only thing that messes me up on the chunky rod when I'm using that bait caster is that trigger.
You gotta have it.
Spinning wheel in my hand. I go to grab it to carry it, and I get stabbed in the middle of my hand with that trigger. I'm like, you son of a. I'm still not used to putting a finger around that trigger when I cast. I'm like, used to just holding it like a regular spinning wheel and casting it.
Yeah.
Trigger's always getting in my way.
But I mean, yeah, I gotta have my trigger guard. I just don't know why. It's just one of those things.
I almost thought about filing that thing off that thing and making it smooth.
Yeah, but Avid's one of those. He has a 13-foot fishing pole, and I don't know how the heck he uses that thing. That's just.
I cast him real easy.
Well, you know, the thing is, they say for distance you want like a surf rod for bank fishing. So I went out and I bought me two 10-foot slime cats, and I'm going to bring them with me when I come to Avid's meet and greet. And yes, I'm sorry, they're going to have bait casters on them, Avid. But I'm sorry, you're going to have to show me how to cast the dang things.
I have a 10-foot. I can't stand it.
If they're going to have bait casters, I can show you.
It takes everything you got to cast those things.
But it's the same. It's the same way I cast it with a spinning reel. It's the same way you cast it with a bait caster. It's all in when you let go of the line going out.
Yeah, but if I cast that sucker 2 or 3 times, I'm wore out.
No, actually, it only takes one good cast because you can use a 4-ounce or a 5-ounce weight on it. It's like when you're going this way, right about here, when you got that force on that rod that has that weight back here, it's like a catapult.
Yeah.
If I've got my bait caster set just right,
keep setting it, and it's going to be setting it sailing.
Well, Richard, you can verify if you've got that bait caster set just right and you put 4 ounces or whatever on that 7'6" and you fling it, you get it just as far out there. If you got it set right.
I agree. I do agree with you there, Katie.
We'll have to test it out because I bet
you. My pins out there farther than I can get that bait caster out.
No. Yeah. You got to have it set right. If you got it set right, it don't matter how long that rod is. You can fling it.
That one I have not had happen yet. I know I can get my 8,000 to 6,000 to go as far as I want it to go on those 11-foot rods and the new Akuma rod, which is 15-foot.
Big Mike says he has a 12-foot and he loves it. He said it's really easy to use. Let the rod do the work.
That's exactly. I let the rod do the work because once it gets loaded in that cast, right about 11 o'clock, I let go of it.
Yeah, but like Sharina said, I feel like I'm just flinging a tree branch or something with that big old 10-foot. I'm telling you, I used it 2 or 3 times and it's sitting in the corner because I can't stand it. It's like a big stiff stick. It has no play to it or nothing. I don't like it.
It has enough play in the tip. That's where you want to play at.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm Like she said, I feel like I'm flinging a whole tree whenever I cast that sucker.
I catch your catfish.
Yeah.
I'll show you how to do it when you come up here.
Yeah, I'll bring a setup, and like I said, I'm gonna need some help because I just
That's right.
you know,
I'll bring mine too,
I
and
can
we'll
take
let you
one of my
teach us.
7.6s, and I know I can cast it every bit, if not further, than someone who can cast this 10-footer.
That's
You know.
right.
I cast 11 and 13 and 18 foot.
Yeah, but how tall are you, Avid?
6'2".
Okay.
5'7".
But see,
I'm
hey,
5'5".
I don't use my height. I use the rod action to do the work. I get it loaded, and when I'm casting this way, it's nothing but the weight and the action that I'm using to launch that weight in the bait. It's all I'm using. Because with that heavy action, it's bent backwards and it's already loaded with that bait. And like I said, between 11 and 12 o'clock is when I let go of it because that rod's going to sling it like a catapult. It normally,
Outdoors Addiction, 8 foot's about the biggest I like too in rods.
Yeah, see, Thomas Littlepage said he's got the 12-footer and he can cast out all the line on his C4.
let's see, as thin as my braid, as thin as the braid I've got on most of my 8,000 and 6,000 pins, I'm looking at almost 400 or 500 yards of line, so I ain't going to get rid of all that in one cast.
Right.
Hey, I'll get rid of almost a third of it.
Yeah.
A third to a quarter of it.
Avid, Big Mike wants to know when the meet and greet is. It's May the
Third
say it
week
again.
in May, the 20th through the 24th.
20th through the 24th.
And if it's real windy,
In Lake.
when I use my big rods, I'll throw a 5 or 8 ounce weight on them and launch them.
Wow.
Then they would. Hey, when
Me
I put
too,
that
Sharina.
and I launch it the same way, goodbye. So I say,
Yeah.
I definitely use a quarter spool of line.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
Sharina said she needs to see you cast that.
Huh?
Sharina said she needs to see that.
I'm
So she probably fling herself right off the bank with it. And I
actually,
say the same thing.
it's all in how you stand when you cast them. It's in your stance of how you cast. If you're standing face first in the bank and you do like I do, yeah, you will end up face first in the lake. But if you do a side stance with 1 foot here, 1 foot here, and cast over, you won't land in the lake because you're pivoting from one to the other, following through with a cast, but you're still using the rod for your launching.
Yeah, and no trees anywhere close. That's for sure.
Trees in a 13-foot rod or a 15-foot rod, no, that's not a good mix.
Well, the thing is with me, if there's a tree, even with my 7.6, 9 times out of 10, I'll probably get it.
Is that at the angle I've launched my baits and weights, it's going to come right close to hitting the branches if it don't hit the branches. Because I don't
Okay, Richard.
I don't
I
let
had
it
a question.
I don't let it go at 12, 1 o'clock position. I let it go between 11 and 12 position. So it has a higher arc, higher altitude to get up into to get out farther.
Yeah.
I
Richard,
like
how long of a leader do you use?
17-pound Cajun.
Leaders, I usually run like in cold water now, I'll go with a shorter leader, maybe 12 to 8 inches. So there's not as much movement. Because I think the fish are more lethargic and go for the slower action. And then of course when it's warm and stuff, I'll go up to an 18-inch leader, but no more than an 18-inch leader.
Thomas, I don't do sidearm casts. I do all my casts over the shoulder. That's why when I do a stance, it's going over the shoulder, over one shoulder to the left shoulder. And I'm still using that rod to launch them all. Hey, Mike Turner.
Thanks for stopping in, Mike Turner. It's all right. I think I need a nap too.
We all need that from something. If you could, would you ever go and fish the Fox River up with catfish and crappie?
Well, yeah, I just, even if I didn't fish much with him, I just love to hang out and talk to him. He seems to be very knowledgeable and personable.
I met him.
Okay.
I met him twice. He is a down-to-earth, solid, good man.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the fish. Yeah. Go ahead, Avid.
He is someone that you can talk to, get to know, and if you have questions about like live streaming or something like that, he can help you with it, just like Palmetto can. As far as sharing live stream links and the YouTube channels or whatever, Palmetto, Kevin, Lyle, they're all good at that kind of stuff.
Right.
If they don't know it, they'll figure it out.
Right.
Hey, my sister's in here. Karen Adamson, that's my sister.
But for me, I love to fish and I love to go to these new places and try out. But when there's great people like Mark and Lyle, Doc, you guys, personally, I'd like to just hang out and visit then. Maybe a couple hours of fishing. Hey, I got my fishing in, but now let's socialize, fellowship,
Talking,
to me,
to know each other.
That's what it's about.
When we went to all my last two meet and greets, that's all we did was fish and socialize.
Yeah.
We just spent 99% of our time on the bank fishing and maybe 0.5% time eating and sleeping. I mean, we had camps and everything set up. Tents, dining room, canopy set up. And where were we at? On the riverbank. 200 yards away from camp.
Yeah.
Where was the food? Buried under ice in the cooler.
Yeah.
We barely made it up to the camp only when we wanted something to drink, and that'd be about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Hazelite, thanks for listening and coming in. What would be your go-to snacks for the bank?
Well, I'm kind of like Stan. First thing I always got to have it. And you notice how he has the small bottles?
Yeah, you got the 2 liters.
The 2 liters are cheaper than the little bottles, first of all. And for snacks, I'm a jerky guy. It's got to be teriyaki jerky.
I can see that.
Yeah.
What about you, Katie?
My snacks?
Yeah. Your go-to snacks in the bank.
Usually like cheese crackers or peanut butter crackers. I'm not much of a snacking. I have to have my Diet Dr. Pepper. But as far as snacks, I'm not much of a snack and, fish kind of gal. But if I'm going to fish all day, I usually have crackers and,
One at a time, I take my coffee with me.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Billy C is in the chat. That's my brother. And Karen Adamson in the chat. That's my sister.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks for coming in. And one at a time, it has to be my coffee, my chips, my donuts, or cream pies, or whatever you want to call them.
I have to have my Diet Dr. Pepper.
Summertime, it's Gatorade and water. My
I
green
drink a lot of Gatorade.
my green apple Gatorades and my chips. Oh, and I also bring my grill so I can cook my brats and my chicken on there and eat it too at the same time. You like how I threw that one in there, huh?
Yeah.
I had to throw that one in the chicken.
Palmetto likes his Diet Dr. Pepper and his Diet Mountain Dew. I just can't do the diet. That aftertaste.
Palmetto, that was an awesome show tonight. That's a great.
Yes, it was.
Loved it.
Yeah.
No, Pond River Boys, I don't eat strawberry chicken.
Crackers, peanut butter crackers.
Yeah. Just
These are
something
my,
simple.
kind of snacks.
Palmetto limits himself to one of those and drinks water with most little flavored packets from Walmart. I like those little flavored
I
packets.
like the green apple Gatorade for the summertime because it helps replace the electrolytes and everything that your body's losing out when you're sweating,
Right.
as well as spring water. I don't do the purified water because most of the stuff you want in the water that's going to keep you healthy has already been boiled out. But I like my spring water, or I will drink a green tea.
There we go.
What is that green thing setting? Oh, well, that's your Mountain Dew.
It looks like he needs a refill.
Almost,
Yeah, I need to refill. Green apple Gatorade is good, but the Gatorade I'm
Never
looking
had it.
is a cucumber lime that's new out. That's really good.
Cucumber lime
Yeah, it's
does
actually
not
good.
sound good.
No.
It don't sound good.
It don't sound good, but once you try it, it is actually pretty good. I mean, it really tastes great.
Don't sound like it.
That's what I thought until I tried it.
Michael Murillo says you can drink regular pop all you want until your pancreas doesn't work at full bore anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I don't drink sodas as much. But if I do-
Aslife says his favorite snack is ice cream.
Actually, it does go good together, Serena. You'd be surprised.
See, Sharina agrees with me. It doesn't sound good to go together.
Yeah.
Cucumber and lime.
I didn't see Mark come in.
I don't see Mark either.
Hey, 110, how you doing, bud?
If you haven't done it yet, please hit the thumbs up for us.
We're at 48 thumbs up,
Awesome.
which is doing great.
So, Richard, you said you look for current when you fish.
Oh, Mark.
What exactly do you look for? Do you look for fast current? Do you look for the swirls where the currents meet? Or what do you look for?
Like earlier on the Kansas River, like I was mentioning, what they call the falls.
Mhm.
It's where the water runs over little rapids into like a pool area. And that's what I like, is if I can find a rapidy kind of area where it leads into a hole, just like off the end of wing dikes and stuff, where it's flowing over the rocks real good. Just fish off to like if the current's going to the right, you just throw off to the right and into the current, and I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, but to me, that's where I've seemed to always have done it. So that's what I stick with.
I agree with that statement. If I wasn't a heavy set, I'd be eating ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No.
Good night to Ovets. Thank you for coming and watching with us.
Up there where you're at now, Richard, what's your biggest channel cat you caught?
Up here, I would say probably right around 10 pounds. Yeah.
Now, would you rather keep a channel cat, blue, or flathead to eat? Your catfish of choice.
Well, okay, this would have to go back to how Norm was explaining the other night, how he cuts out the bloodline, and he soaks it in salt. The way that, well, my old man always used to do it, and so how I do it, and I'd have to say so I prefer channel cat, is once you cut out the bloodline and stuff, you also cut out the yellow, like, fat around the front of the flag. Get all the fat, yellow, gray out, and the bloodline. And then, honestly, he always soaked it in Sprite or 7-Up, where the carbonation would go through and filter it out. And so, and honestly, I'm not a big catfish eater. Now, I'll catch fish and I'll clean them and I'll give them to people who want them and stuff. But for me eating, I really don't like fish.
How about crappie?
It's still a fish.
I'm just asking.
I'm with Art at one time. If I'm going to eat fish, I'd like to have flathead. Less bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flathead or spoonbill. Spoonbill's my favorite. But
Spoonbill is good eating.
it's hard to get around here.
I can get it up here.
I would say gar nuggets, once they cut out the loin and stuff, and the little nuggets are pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. You basically, when you clean a gar, you're only eating the back straps.
Yeah, like the loin.
Yeah, it's the back strap loin that's going from the head all the way back. When you get all that cut out, you got a chunk about like that round on a good size, about like that on a good size gar.
I've never eaten gar.
3/4 of an inch thick, and it's white and it's flaky.
Yeah, and not fishy tasting to me at all. Well, the one I had.
The ones I had, when I cleaned them up and I fried them up, they didn't have no fish taste to them whatsoever. They were actually good.
Yes, Catfish Hunter. I'm in Kentucky also, and Berkeley Dam is the best place to get spoonbill. Yes. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes away from Berkeley Dam.
So you can get spoonbill down there then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And your 10-foot rod with a 1-aught circle hook with a weight in the middle of it. Cast it out there and do a snagging effect.
Most of them that get those down there, they snag. They snag the far out of them.
That's the only way you're going to snag them, but you have to do it during the snagging season.
Right, yeah, they have a specific season for that.
Some of them spoonbill will blow your mind in the size of them.
Yes, some of them are huge.
I watched the guy hook into one last year on a 1-aught treble hook with a weight in the middle. He hooked into a 9-footer. He got it to shore, and where he had it hooked was in the bill. It punctured the edge of the bill, and when he swung his bill around, he broke the line, and the hook stayed in his bill, and he swam off before they could get the rope around the bill.
Yeah.
That 9-footer had to be every bit of God knows how many pounds.
Wow.
That guy tried to jump into Mississippi in fast current to try to get that spoonbill.
Wow. At the down there, like at the Berkeley Dam, when you go to the lock, which is right next to it, they have a little concrete aisle that goes out into right there in front of the lock, where if you're a bank fisherman, you can step out on it and fish. And man, I'm telling you, if you get there right at daylight, the skipjack and the shad are jumping like crazy. The water sounds like it's got like popcorn popping.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin,
one's
is it
that?
a red rhino like this? The other night, I think it was on your chat, Justin brought up the old Zebco red rhinos reels.
Uh-huh.
And I have 3 of them. They're the 340s. And I was just curious of what one he had, because those you can't find at all anymore. Yeah. I hate to say it. I kind of got a reel fetish too. I don't know.
I can tell.
I have Rovers, Slime Cats. I have the Sumos.
Richard, I want to have to do a video of my storage shed outside, and you'll see the kind of finish I have with rods and reels and tackle and all that.
Yeah.
I like how he's got them set up behind him.
It's a
That's pretty
7 by
awesome.
7 by 7 by 7 storage shed,
Right.
and I don't have very much walk room to go in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad myself.
I think I got coolers in there. I got tarps. I got shelf with tackle on it. One corner that has God knows how many rods in the middle of it. That one corner. I think I got almost 60 or 70 rods combined in that one corner.
Right.
Like they're all given to me. I just have to clean them up and give them to kids and everything to let them fish with.
I have 3 that I fish with. Well, I have 3. That's all I got. And one bluegill pole that I catch my bait with. That's all I got.
Those are all nice reels.
Yeah, those are nice.
My Min Yang CL60As.
Are those pink?
Yes.
Oh, see, I want one of those.
Richard, Kevin says he's about to say there's an impressive collection behind you.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
why I went
T-Bone.
ahead and give you a little panoramic of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow. Well, we got blues up here, and we got flatheads up here on Rend Lake, even on the Kaskaskia, the Ohio, the Mississippi. We get you some monster blues and flatheads. Serena is saying those are nice reels.
Yeah, I get in trouble every once in a while because the wife.
Oh, you got one of them too? Well, I don't have one, but you got one?
Yeah, 22 years.
Wow.
Justin
That's
Fishing
awesome.
Fetish says you outdid him. You outdid him on the reels.
Yeah. Well, that's just the majority. I still have a bunch over at the other house. See, this is the house I've been remodeling. So I got my man cave kind of done. So that's why I wanted to do that interview here.
So have you fished with any of those reels?
Oh, yeah. Every one of them's been used.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Has Life says it's an impressive collection. I think
Thank
so
you.
too.
Yeah, Justin says his wife yells at him every time he picks up a rod or reel.
Well, I hate to. Go
Did
ahead.
that happen with you?
Oh, yeah. I know the chaoses. I've actually got 4 on order, and I don't know why, but I don't have them, and I kind of want them, so I went ahead and I ordered them.
Catfish Weekly.
Is that the PC Fun ones?
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah,
you're
the
talking
one
about?
that you used the CAT 18 code for that Kevin
Yeah.
set up for us. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, I got one of those myself.
Catfish
I
Weekly.
used it, but I didn't catch anything on it yet. But it's pretty impressive.
Catfish Weekly says she thinks you have more reels than him.
Oh, wow.
And Serena says Richard Ward once said Thomas had too many rods and reels. Now it's a different story. You can never have too many.
I'd agree with that statement. I mean, I got some grandbabies, that are at the age I can almost start taking them myself and feel comfortable. And, they're going to have something when Papa's gone, carry
Right.
on the family tradition.
But see, I'm a firm believer you can't have too many rods, but you can't have enough tackle.
See, I'm simple on my tackle too. Tackle, no, but the rods and reels, you got to have a lot of.
If one breaks, you got to have another one back up.
You see that statement?
Catfish hunter, I fish from the bank. I've never fished on a boat, but I'd love to.
I don't know how to alijos, whatever that means, or however you pronounce that.
Oh, I think that's a PC fun, isn't it? Kevin, is that the spinning reel?
I'm not sure. Is it a
Alijos.
bait cast or a spinning reel?
Richard World, he says that's one you need to get.
The what?
But
The Alios? Or
yes,
Alios?
there you go.
See, that's
Is
a
that
low
the-
profile. That's a
what I
low
was gonna say,
profile
that's a
one.
low
I won't
profile.
do profile. It reminds me of bass fishing. So
Yeah, I agree.
It's got to be the round bait caster. Or, I'm sorry, Kevin. It's got to be round.
It's a low profile reel, is what Kevin says.
Yeah, and to me, bass. That's a bass reel.
Justin, just to let you know, if you've seen my videos and you've seen my truck, it's loaded with tackle, it's loaded with first aid equipment, live wells, coolers. My passenger seat is full of tackle. Behind my seat is full of God knows what that I need for fishing or something. I have flay knives in that truck. I have flay boards. I have Ziploc baggies. I have everything in that truck. I even carry a little small Weber grill in there with charcoal.
Catfish hunter, our hats came from Market Catfish and Crappie. And I don't think he has a store. I think you just contact him and he hooks you up. Richard, Kevin says it will completely change your outlook.
Yeah, and then I told him, well, I guess I'll have to win his then to see.
See that? Hey, that's a good way.
Yeah, he said he'd take you out on the boat sometime. All you have to do is be someplace you both are at.
I know. That's pretty awesome.
All right, so Avid was talking about you can never have too much tackle, right?
You never
Right?
have enough tackle.
When I go out, like even when I go to Mendota, say, I won't take any more than this. Just a little box. It's got everything in it that I need.
That's nice.
Yeah, see, I have a little car, so I have a backpack, one of the fishing backpacks, and it has one of those plastic boxes like that in it. And then I have a pocket it's got my, clippers and all in it, and that's all I fish with.
Kevin says update. I don't think I'll give that reel away.
Bummer, Kevin.
Well, I tried.
Like that chunky cat rod and the Shakespeare reel bait caster. I don't think I'll give them away because I like how they cast too much.
Yeah.
And I haven't got them the bird nest yet, which I'm glad I haven't.
You will. You will.
Now if I keep it the drag set the way it is, it won't.
If he does, it's mine. If he backlashes it on camera, then it's mine. He has to send it to me. It's our agreement.
Hey, it hasn't backlashed on camera yet.
Yet. But what, you've only used it one time? Yeah, and Richard, after I told him that, he quit using it and went to a spin cast.
Yeah, I went back to my crappie rod.
See? You got scared.
Richard, Catfish Hunter wants to know what's your take on suspended drift fishing?
I've seen it done. I have never done it. Like I was saying earlier, I'm a bottom fisherman, and even when I'm out in the boat and stuff, we anchor up and just cast out and let it set. We don't do drifting, dragging, bumping, suspending. Just simple. Because I go for the enjoyment and relaxation of it. That's the true part of it for me. And if like at the meet and greet or I call it the Mendota family gathering, it's for the fellowship. That to me what it's all about.
Okay. No.
Hey, there's Mark.
Hey,
Catfish and Crappie.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Catfish Hunter, there he is. Catfish and Crappie. He's the one that our hats came from.
Yep. Now, being a bank fisherman, sitting in the chair and watching your rod bend over and touch the water, what would be your thoughts on something like that?
I hope I can get my big bottom up out of this chair and get to it before the rod goes in. Because I've had it happen too many times.
Now, do you use PVC rod holders or do you use sticks or what?
Well, I've used them all. I'm trying the new Cat Force rod holders. But usually I use like a surf sand setup that goes in about 2 feet. You pound it down good, and it's kind of like it's out of aluminum, not PVC though. So that's what I had been using, but I'll be right back. Hang on. I'm going to try these by Cat Force One.
Oh, those are nice.
So,
Pam Meadow wants to know, can you honestly relax while bumping honest questions? Seems like it would stress me out.
can you honestly relax while bumping?
Bumping off the bottom of the boat. Bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think you could. I mean, because what's the point? You lift up your weight and you let it run down current, and then you lift it up, let it run down current, right?
Right.
That can't be relaxing.
Now, have you seen these heavy gauge spring coiled rod holders that they have out?
Yeah, where they're just round and have the rod and you stick it in.
Yeah, with the springs in them.
Yeah.
I use them on the banks. And what the springs do is when the catfish bends that spring, it holds on to the bottom of that rod.
Oh,
and
okay.
It gets so far down, and that catfish is pulling on it. That rod ain't coming out of that spring. The only thing it's going to do is let that drag go off that line. I've had my 13-foot twice laid flat on the ground with a big cat pulling it. It's not coming out of that rod holder, but that leg just screaming. The time I got to that rod, it's laying flat on the ground, and that spring was not letting it out of that rod holder.
Yeah.
I got mine off of YouTube off of eBay, and I can't tell you what kind they are. They were the man made them, and they are super nice, and they're stout, but they're heavy. So I bought 3 of them. They were a reasonable price, but if you're like me and you got to do some pretty good walking to get to a good spot, they're not very convenient. They're super duper heavy.
That's why I like the spring-loaded rod holders, because the base is about maybe like that much, about like that long. Then you got maybe that much of the spring, and I put them in my backpack where the slots are. And put them in there and just walk off with them. So all I'm carrying is my rods, my landing net, my cooler with baits. And that's all I'm carrying. So I like the backpack because it carries the rod holders and my baits, not my baits, my hooks and everything else in it that I need. The scales, the fish grippers, my pliers, whatever, my scissors for cutting lines.
Right.
All in the backpack.
Yeah.
That's why I like my backpacks because I have 2 for crappie, 2 for bass, 1 for catfish.
Hey, Betty. Thanks for coming in.
And that way, hello, Betty. And I like it because with that backpack, I don't have to worry about lugging a heavy
Right,
tackle.
that's what I carry. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about a tackle box. You just put the backpack on my shoulder and walk.
I'm always afraid with them little spring ones that it's just not going to hold it. If you get something big, you walk off from it, I'm afraid it's going to fling out of that sucker.
But see, I don't get the little ones like you get at Walmart. I go get the bigger ones at the bait shop, which are a lot more beefier and a lot more thicker.
Right.
Because the little ones are more like for pan fishing with a bobber or something. But the bigger ones, when I use for catfishing, is I've used them, I've tried them, I've tested them. Versus PVC, the spring-loaded rod holders hold better versus PVC in the mud. Because I've cracked a PVC one from the very bottom to the top with a cat.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay.
That's something I always think about. If I ever hook anything big, I don't want to lose my rod. I mean,
Well,
and not be able to fight the fish. Just watch it go swing across the water.
With the bait casters, you got that bait clicker.
I don't hardly ever use my bait clicker.
Well, bait clicker.
I like to see the rod bend.
Yeah, but your rod will still bend. According to how you
but not like it will.
Yeah, but your bait clicker is going to save you from losing your rod.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention to your rod anyway, and you have that bait clicker on, it's going to make a loud enough noise where it's going to tell you,
Right.
"Hey, come get me. I got a problem."
Yeah. This is true.
That's why I like my bait clickers on my Cast King and that bait clicker off that Shakespeare, because you will get hit, it's going to ring out.
Right.
Right.
Plus, it's going to keep you from trying to snag your rod back out of the lake or river. If you got it, use it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Richard, hook size. Oh, that's a good looking rod. Oh, that's your rod holder. Yeah, see, I like that. Is it really heavy?
It's fairly heavy, yeah. I mean, you get like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
You want something stout for cat. You want something stout like that for catfishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really do, because if you don't, and you get something thinner from the bank, it'll bend and it'll warp.
Right, but my problem is, some places we fish, you got to climb down big banks
Right.
and have a rope to help you get back up and stuff. And if you got them big old heavy boogers, it's hard to carry them back up.
But see, that's
And
where
you pitch them down.
if you have a backpack with a loop on it, you put a carabiner back there and clip them onto it. Right where that
I
footstep
never thought
is.
about that.
And you can clip it on, and you can use your hands and your rods and go down them that way. That's why I like a backpack, because I can clip stuff on it. I have carabiners hanging off the back of that just for things like that.
Right.
Hook sizes, Katie.
Yes.
7/0 to 9/0 are pretty much my standard. Colder weather, I usually go to about a 5/0 circle hook. I don't think really there's any point in any bigger than that. I know you see people doing the 12/0 and stuff now. But I look at it this way. The old timers caught them on, 2/0, 3/0 hooks, the great big fish back in their day. They didn't have what we have now,
Right.
so course, they did it to feed the family and stuff, so
Right.
they swallowed the hook and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, 5/0 up to 9/0, and 9 times out of 10, it'll be a 7/0 is what I use.
Kevin, I use a similar rod holders that Spencer uses. I have no problem with them. They hold the rods. They keep the rods in there when the catfish bend them and they hold the rods really good. And I like them.
Avid Sharina wants to know what size your backpack is.
My backpack is about the size of a school bag backpack.
And mine is too.
About maybe
Mine was just a real tree camo backpack from the
It's a-
Walmart
it's
hunting
a
section.
backpack.
Well, mine's just
Cool.
one compartment.
A 24-ounce.
24-inch.
I'd use a 12-ounce circle hook. Same as you'd use, Betty. Or no, Brandon. It's the same.
See, I've never used bait that big. I've never had bait that big.
When I use a 12-inch skipjack, I'm not going to flay him. I'm not going to cut him up. I'm going to put a hook in his mouth up in the sinus cavity. Then I'll put one right there, maybe 3/4 of an inch away from his tail, another hook for a stinger hook. Then I cut off his tail right behind that last hook. That way, it's like Doc Lang says, it gives off that scent, and that little bit of blood that comes out of there ain't going to be really gushing. It's going to be trickling out a little slow. Give that oil scent and the blood scent out.
Right.
Mark says, Richard, you have a super nice looking office. Like it, Richard.
Thank you.
Mark, that is his man cave.
Yep.
He's got about 150 reels behind him, at least.
Mark, I think he'd put you to the test with the bait casting reels he has behind him.
But you know how you're talking those big round bank rod holders? I just realized Rip and Lip's website now has those style of rod holders for sale.
Yeah, but they're the heavy gauge ones too. And
Yes, they are. They're big, heavy gauge round coil ones.
And I tell you what, you ever get one of those in the ground? I mean, all the way down to where it sits on the spring, and you put your rod in it, and you get a big cat on that, and it's bent and loaded.
Yeah.
You ain't pulling out of that rod holder unless you pull it back with both hands and release that spring.
Yeah.
Trust
What do you
me,
use if you're on a rocky bank and you can't get a rod holder in the ground?
I use the springs because they're easier to get in.
Stick the
I
butt
could
right
never
down
get them
between
suckers.
two rocks.
But see, I keep working the area until I find that crevice between the rocks, and it slides all the way down in there, and I use it.
The ones I got, you can put a foot on both sides, kind of like a shovel. And man, I could not, the other day, I could not find a spot to stick them suckers in the ground.
One Ton Fishing Club has a question for Richard. Does he play Santa at Christmas?
I have before, believe it or not. Yes. Yeah.
Betty says, I love the man cave, but check out the woman cave. Love that pic behind you, Katie.
Thank you, Betty. I drew one of them, and the other one is just my profile pic for YouTube, and I just printed it out. The other one is I drew with, and it's got watercolors coloring it in.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. I like it a lot.
You gonna
Thank you.
modify on that wall behind you for next week or not, Katie?
I don't know, maybe. We'll see.
Hey, you gotta have your woman cave up and ready.
I know. We'll see.
Your passion for catfishing, at what age did that really turn on? There you go.
Well, being originally from Montana, and if you've ever talked to Ann White and them, Eddie, there's not really that big a catfish up in Montana.
I know what you're talking about.
So, we did fish for them growing up, but it was primarily trout. And then when I moved down here, I was 18. So when I was 18, honestly, that's when I really started focusing on catfishing.
Yeah.
That's been a long time ago, people.
Hey, I don't
Surely not.
18, but I know what you're talking about. That's a long distant memory.
Yeah,
That's
like Stan the third today said he was 33 or 37, I can't remember. And I was thinking, oh, a baby.
Actually,
Kevin, this is our channel mascot right here. This is Bella. She insists on coming in and saying hi every time we talk.
Betty, there's great fishing up there in Montana. They got ling, they got burbot, they got trout, northern pike, muskie, lake trout, silver salmon, kokanee, anything I missed yet, Roger?
Walleye, yeah. They got it all up there, yeah.
They even got that cold water fishing off those Flathead Lake right out of the glaciers, catching that cold water fish. Ooh, those fish bite like you won't believe. And they're good eating too. That water stays 68 year round?
Well, and it's crystal clear too. That's the thing. Yeah. You can see 60 foot straight down.
Even 60 foot of water, you can see that bottom, crystal clear.
Yep.
And it was on that bottom.
Hi, Thomas.
Yeah, Montana's a very beautiful state.
Oh, yeah.
I miss it.
Especially Glacier National Park.
Yeah. Glacier, Yellowstone.
But
hey, Mr. Creo.
I like what they did with Bob Marshall National Wilderness.
Yep.
They closed it off to motorized vehicles and airplane landings in there. You can't have no helicopters, no planes, no trucks, RVs, motorcycles, anything. Only way you get in is by horseback or by foot.
Yes, Kevin, that is true.
And yeah, that's true, but National Wilderness, it's not a small wilderness. It's over 3 million acres.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It will take you years to cover that much acreage.
Well, what's funny is when I first moved down here, a guy said, hey, come out and help us do bales. Well, we went out and threw bales and we're done by noon. And I thought, what's going on? I mean, our just hate crop is 35,000 acres.
Montana, you throw on bales, it takes you 3 days.
Or more.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And they're not these little rinky-dink bells they got down here. They're almost 90-pound bells up there in Montana.
Well, I was going to say 75 to 120.
Right, but still down here, you're throwing about a 60-pound bell and knocking the guy off the top of the wagon.
Yeah.
Betty says she lives right beside Glacier National Park, the most beautiful place she's ever planted her feet.
Who? Yeah. Betty said that?
Betty, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's where you had a good home up there once.
Kevin says he's heard Montana is the best place to go if you want to live off the grid.
You can go up there and live off grid, and there's a lot of wildlife up there. You get that wildlife coming through your backyard 3 times a day. You get have elk, moose, bear, mountain lion, antelope.
Wow.
All the creatures, turkeys, squirrels, rabbits, white-tailed deer, mule deer, black-tailed deer, caribou. No. There ain't a wildlife that wouldn't crush your backyard.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you're out in the woods. And up in the Rocky Mountains, you don't know what critter's going to be going through your backyard.
Yeah.
And the only endangered species up there, actually, there's two up there right now. One's a wolf, and the other one's a Kodiak grizzly. That's the last time I knew from up there. Good night, Serena.
Good night, Sharina. Thank you.
Yes, good night. So what's your go-to rig, Katie?
Same as you, Carolina rig.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's
Right.
always worked for us down here. So I tried the float. I tried the Santee thing. I've tried every different kind of combination. But when it comes to it, you know, I've always looked at YouTube and thought, oh, I'll try this. But when it boils down to it, that one's never failed me, and I always end up going back to it. So
Now,
it's got to be my favorite.
the only time I use a Texas rig or double Texas rig with a sinker on the bottom is if I'm fishing around somewhere that's really rocky. That way, if I catch a fish, I'll lose the sinker, but I'll keep the fish.
Yeah.
And I've lost a few sinkers that way, but I've still landed the blues and flatheads out of the rocky banks. And they put me
Most of the banks close to home here, like I say, I live like a half a mile from the river. I can see it out this window here when it's daylight. And most of the banks down through here are rocky, really rocky. There used to be a sand gravel yard right down there, and there's a boat dock down there. And if I'm going to fish close to home, it's really rocky everywhere down through there.
That'd be the only time I'd use a Texas rig.
Yeah.
Put that hook on the bottom and up about maybe 10 inches up, I'd do a hook with your bait on it and go up another 10 inches, put another hook on it with bait on it. A double Kentucky rig.
Huh.
I've used them
I
before.
think that's something like Hagen Grubbs does, isn't it?
Yeah. But his is normally one hook rig. But
Right.
me with my big rods, I like to beef it up a little.
Yeah.
10 inches with one, another 10 inches with one. And
Well, I know one video he did, he showed one with two hooks and how to tie it. I thought that was pretty awesome, but I hadn't tried it.
That's good for if you're off a boat, but for bank fishing,
Uh-huh.
they have a tendency to twist up on you around the line, casting long distances.
Kevin, I have no idea if there's such a thing as a triple Kentucky rig.
Kevin,
But it sounds like it would be awesome.
the only way it's possible if you make it possible. If you tie 3 hooks to a Kentucky rig, then it is a triple threat Kentucky rig.
Whiskers and Stripes says we can't count that high.
Hey, whiskers and stripe, I can count the size I want.
Nice swamp diver. It may be, I don't know, it may be less than a half mile, but I lived right across the road from here is where I was born and raised.
Buddy.
And the house that I've rented is actually, my dad owned it. It's across the road. And like I say, I can see it out the window.
Yeah. Hey, Creel, welcome. So, how
Theo
often?
says in really rocky areas, we use a 3-way swivel rig with the sinker dropper tied in line with the main line for field.
Mm-hmm.
Creo, you have to show me how to do that.
Oh, that's easy to do that one. I could show you how to do that. That's real simple. Now, how often do you clean your reels during fishing season, and how often do you respool them during fishing season?
Cleaning, honestly, since I have such a variety of reels and I do get to change them out a lot, I clean them about once a year. Line, honestly, because I keep it all inside, it's never weathered and stuff. I just check the first 10 to 15 feet of it to make sure there's no frays and stuff in it. And if it's not frayed, I don't worry about changing it out. And like you see them how they're setting and all stuff now.
Right.
I do take the drag all the way off, and I do take the tension off on the tension spools.
No.
It's something I've always done, so it don't mess up with the drag washers and stuff like that. You know.
I was fixing to ask you, why do you do that?
Well, because a lot of those washers kind of have that U shape to them.
Right.
And if you keep the drag tight on them and it just sets and sets with that pressure, it causes the drag to have slippage and loosen up. So if you release the drag when it sets, it doesn't harm it, And yeah, Kevin, I do build a lot of stuff. All my shelvings, my tool racks, bookshelves, you name it. Yeah.
Not only is he a cat fisherman and a reel collector, he's a handyman with tools.
Well, the wife decided to buy a 130-year-old house, and hey, let's move into it. So I've been spending the last year remodeling it. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to have me a man cave. So, yeah. I got what I wanted, so she gets what she wants. So,
yeah. So how much more farther do you have to get your house remodeled before she's happy?
Actually, we only have 60 square feet, and I think I'm actually going to put linoleum down. So,
did you want linoleum or did you want tile?
I want to go with the linoleum rather than tile. But it's her choice totally. But I've done everything else, all the plumbing, wiring, drywall, flooring, sanding it, restaining it, polishing it. Yeah. So
you're welcome, Headhunter. Post your link one more time, Headhunter, before you go. For people that just joined in chat.
Catfish Hunter, we'll see you next week.
New channel and just getting started. So let's go show him some love and subscribe and watch the previous videos.
Catfish Hunter, not Headhunter.
I mean, yeah, Catfish Hunter.
Now, this house that I moved into is from the 50s. And we worked on it we stripped the whole inside and worked on it for, over 6 months before I could move into it. And it's still got a lot of work I want to do to it. So, but bit by bit, I wanted to go ahead and move into it.
I'm right at about a year on it. But, I mean, this has been a big house. This is an old Colonial 4-square versus our little 3-bedroom. And, honestly, since I started this project, I have an alternating 3 or 4 days off, and I've spent every day here remodeling. I've had 3 days off in a year per se where I haven't done anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So no fishing.
Well, really, last year I went fishing twice, I think. That was it.
I sent you that link, Katie.
I saw it. Thank you.
It's easy to share those links on tablet. I know how to do it. Okay, everybody, we're pushing the 2-hour mark. So it's been fun.
Richard, is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah. What would you like to share with the audience right now?
I'd like to thank everyone, personally, because, I feel so welcomed and stuff through the chats here lately, through live chat. And I feel that we become such a strong community, and it's really nice. It really is. It feels, I hate to say, cozy, comfy, and you know, like Avid, you know, who pushes for the growth of everyone's channel, and you know, trying to get them started up and stuff. You know,
Right.
Before, you know, it was kind of like, you know, people wanted you to do Facebook and stuff, and then, you know, but for me, I'm not tech savvy at all. At all.
Right.
Neither am I. I'm not tech savvy. These two things are the amount of tech as I got
Yeah.
in the laptop. That's all I got.
And to Kevin, I want to thank Kevin, you know, for, I mean, the growth that he's received just, you know, in the time he's been on YouTube, and what he has actually reached out and done. I mean, to reach people and stuff. I mean, it's amazing. It truly is amazing. And, you know, Lyle and Doc, who have educated, you know, the cat fishermen, I truly believe.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just been a wonderful experience. It truly has.
Now I will give two channels a shout out that I know, and I've watched them grow since I hit live. One is Catfish and Crappie. He stepped up to his first live was with me. Then when I had to start doing all these crazy work hour shifts, he stepped up to cover for me on my Friday nights. And from that first night on, watching him grow was amazing. And keep watching him grow every week is awesome, especially with the 1-versus-1 challenge he's got now, and his lives every Friday night on Nightline Live is amazing. And Kevin, when he went live, I mean, he just took off like a rocket. He just blossomed into the live streams, just like Mark. And those are two channels I'm amazed with. They're both good people. They're just like Lyle, Patriot James,
Yes.
Chunky Cats, DMV. They all have good channels, but those two are really great. And I hopefully sooner or later, if it happens, this channel with me and Katie live will take off. If it happens.
Be pretty awesome.
It's a great concept and a great idea behind it. It truly is. And the interaction that, you know, that it brings to the catfish community, it's just amazing. It truly is.
And Panfish Weekly, look at it. It just recently started, and look how many subs are behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I was looking one night. I don't even know what I was looking for, but I was looking for, you know, catfish tips one night, and I looked and it said that Palmetto Cats was live, and I was like, "What's live? You know, what's he doing?" And I pushed it, and from then on, I started watching, you know, and he'd say somebody was live, and I'd look them up. And then there would be another one. I'd look it up, and I just got hooked. And I look for somebody's videos every night. That's my thing.
Kevin,
I just grew.
Katie is an excellent co-host. That's why I picked her, and that's why she was the first one I asked to be a co-host.
Thank you.
Well, you did an excellent job.
Thank you
Nice
very
to
much.
meet you, Katie.
I wanted.
Thank you.
I've seen all these other co-hosts were all men. I'm like, okay, step outside the box. Bring in a female catfish angler into the live stream so they could share their voice and their opinion and their outlook on fishing as well.
Right.
Because, yeah, why look at all guys all the time when there's more than just guys catfishing? Right? Bring the female side into it.
Kevin said, and my shirt ain't bad either.
No, your shirt ain't bad.
And my hat.
Your hat is good too.
Right.
We both got that covered. We just got to get Richard Ward one.
That's right.
Richard
You got to
Ward,
fit
the
in.
beanie, and the catfish.
Well, if things go right, because my wife's really artsy fartsy, and she's got the steam press, the Cricut, the U-Do, all that
Right.
stuff. And we did do an SVG pattern for her Cricut. So hopefully
Nice.
here pretty soon, I will be having some hats and shirts.
Nice.
Thank you, Kevin, for posting Katie's channel. Everybody, please go over there and show her some love and help her grow. Give her some encouragement to help her get some videos up or some live streams on her own to go up on her channel.
Hopefully, I'll be able to soon. I
And
haven't had time to go out, but
maybe the third week we do this, it might be on her channel.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's up to you if you want to try it on your channel through YouTube. Because on StreamYard, you do get 20 hours a month free.
We'll talk about it.
Well, it's
I
just
played
something
with
to think about.
StreamYard today, and I was lost.
I'm still learning. Thank you, Eric.
Catfish, Mark says, there you go, Richard. That's how you get started.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin, for sharing out those links.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, guys,
Kevin,
I think we've had a good night.
you have anything to say to the audience, Katie?
I'm humbled to be a part of the group. I'm humbled that Avid asked me to do this. I think you're all awesome. I feel like we're all neighbors. I feel like we're all close. I feel like I know you all personally, and this is how I know you. I thank you all very much. God bless each and every one of y'all. That's all I got to say.
Kevin, it was an excellent night starting off with your show. I'm glad we were able to top it off with Richard Ward, a.k.a. MadKatters.
Thank
Check
you
him
very
out.
much.
For everybody that came in, all 50 viewers. At one time, I thought it was 52.
Pretty awesome.
And I pray we can get this going next week when we have catfish hunters on the show with us, with me and Katie Collins. I hope to see you all in chat next week with him and show him some love, someone that's new to YouTube. He had 51 thumbs up. That's awesome. Let's Catfish Headhunters link is somewhere. Catfish Hunters link is in chat, so you can scroll back and
Yeah, he posted it before he left.
huh?
He posted it right before he left.
Right. And let's go show him some love, subscribe to him, and help him grow. He will watch some of his videos and get some questions for him for next week. Thank you. And with that, we will call it a good night. Tight lines.
God bless everybody.
Be safe.
Bye.
Bye. Night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.